Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I am Jason Leroy from Jason Leroy, and today we're going to be reviewing something that I would categorize as a grail. For those who aren't familiar with what a grail is inside of an action figure community, a grail is a figure that is sought after by a certain person, in this case me, because it is expensive, rare, or I haven't seen this personally, but I also categorize a grail as something that you just really want. For example, another grail of mine would be the Marvel Legends 20th anniversary Toad figure. It's not too expensive as other things like Reveltech and SH Figuarts can be. It's not that rare, and it's a grail to me because Mortimer Tonenby, the character of Toad, is one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. I like frogs, and overall, I really like his character. His depiction in X-Men Evolution was amazing. Although that was technically not Mortimer Tonenby, it was still the character of Toad. So, I apologize for not making a lot of videos. I haven't made one for a considerable amount of time, and I hope I haven't scared anybody in like a sense, because last time that we checked in, I did have ongoing mental health issues. And I think a big reason why I stopped making so many consistent-esque videos is because I went to the mental hospital again, and I finally got better. While the medicine that they put me on is no longer working, and I do need to find a supplement, and I am currently in a manic episode, it's not as dangerous as it once was, and it's not so constant that I'm a danger to myself and others 24/7. I can have situations where I am, especially not that fun to be around, and I do have situations where my mind is running 100 miles an hour and I'm seeing and hearing things, and I believe that I am divine. All par for the course. However, I'm trying to get that fixed before it falls into depression, which I do fear. I think that's very understandable of me to do. Anyway, as you can see, the setup has changed. Most of my videos were filmed in my kitchen. Then I filmed them. Well, a few of them were also filmed. Specifically the Taskmaster review of the figure made by Diamond Select. That was filmed in my room. However, me and my brother have hence switched rooms, not switched rooms, divided rooms. He lives all the way over there, and I'm now in my own room. It's one of the first times in my entire life, really, that I've have a room to myself. Me being a twin really makes it hard to have my own personal privacy, but for the past few months, ever since I believe towards December, I have finally been able to have that freedom. I've overall just gotten a lot better. However, something to talk about is that I believe yesterday it was, I went to my GameStop. My GameStop is my most local and most consistent form of getting figures. I got multiple figures that I actually am very excited to go over. One of them, I genuinely did not believe I would get that of a figure of the character, until I made actual money and I could buy it for over $100 it can go for. But it's not the same figure. but I am very excited to make a review of it. Today, I'm going to be reviewing a different figure, made by Marvel Legends. The video title, if I remember to name it this, is "It's Finally Here, the Big One." That is a quote from Toy Story Sid whenever he gets the extremely large and dangerous for the toys firework. When he gets it, he says, "It's finally here, the big one." And I chose to quote that because this figure that I'm going to be reviewing today is a grail of mine. Ever since it was announced, ever since it was released, I genuinely did not believe I was going to get it until I was 25. I'm not. I am in my sophomore year of high school. My birthday was actually very recently, And this character in general, I never really thought that I'd get because it's such an amazing character. It's one of my favorite X-Men characters. So the big one in this stance is not only big because it is important to me, it's big because it is the tallest, well, not the tallest. There is a taller figure that is only a little bit taller, but it is the most heavy figure and the tallest Marvel figure that I own. That being the Marvel Legends Marvel vs. Capcom Gamerverse of the Juggernaut. He is humongous, or I'm extremely small. It's not that one. So, first thing off the bat that caught me to be displeased is that this helmet first is made of a plastic piece, so that is good as it adds extra range. Not so much, but it is noticeable than if it was just a but if it was just a pure plastic piece that was not soft. In the, I believe it was the Juggernaut versus Colossus 2-pack that Marvel Legends released a little while ago, most likely years, but it added the unmasked version of Marco Kane or Kane Marco. I can never get his name correct. I believe it's Kane Marco. Anyway, but the Juggernaut. This one does not come with that. It only comes with 2 hands and an effect piece. However, the articulation is not what I expected. It's much better than I would believe it to be for a figure this large, especially made by a company like Hasbro. While I don't support complete Hasbro hate, they're not my favorite company. My favorite company is still SH Figuarts. I believe that they have the coolest figures I've seen, with Revoltech being a very close second and Mayfex being a third. I can go into why that is in another video, but I don't support Hasbro hate completely. I believe that Hasbro, much like other companies, specifically McFarlane, has highs and lows. I believe that this Juggernaut figure is an example of one of their highs. It is breathtaking, really. When I came into the GameStop, I was looking around. They had run out of affordable SH Figuarts, as in my mother was not going to buy me them, and I do not have a job. Or it just occurred that I already have, and I don't need another one of. For example, they had the Super Saiyan Yellow Goku and the Tanjiro. I already have the Super Saiyan Yellow Goku, and I already have the Tanjiro not from the movie. And they also had the Chainsaw Man Denji figure from the movie. However, I don't... If I need it, I'll get it. However, I would rather get the anime version where it's not his shirt is off. I prefer that look. And so I was just looking around to see what I got. Well, let's see what I could get. There was a Luffy figure of the time skip, but I would have the Luffy figure of the non-time skip. So I'm not looking. I'm not specifically wanting to get that one. Like, just jump on the gun and get it. They did have a Kurama figure that was made by Blockies. They're a build-a-figure company where you literally build the figure one piece at a time. Or model figure company, I should say. I've never been the fan of Blockies because I don't like a lot of their designs, especially in Marvel, and some of their new Naruto designs. But the Kurama design is good, as well as some of their Hatsune Miku ones. I don't particularly care for getting a Hatsune Miku figure. I don't think the Hatsune Miku can beat the Juggernaut. That's just a personal idea. But the Kurama, I was thinking about getting it. But as soon as my eyes locked on the Juggernaut figure, it was not even a question. As soon as I knew it was there, I asked my mother to get it, and she resigned any reluctance and allowed me to get it. I explained to the cashier and later to my mother that the reason why I needed to get it was that if I didn't, somebody else would very soon. And that was proven wrong because the next day, today, we came back to that GameStop and another figure of the Juggernaut was there. So if somebody copped this, his foot just fell off. If someone cops this one, well, not this one because his foot is off, but if someone copped this one, then I could have just copped the one that's there today. I don't know how many Juggernauts they have. I doubt they have, hundreds of them. It's not very likely. Not zero, but not very likely. I would be surprised if they have two more. I think that's most likely that they have at least one more, but that's still somewhat of a stretch. The Marvel Gamerverse, the Marvel Legends Gamerverse, Marvel vs. Capcom figure line is really good to me. I do really love those figures. I don't think that there is a single absolute miss. While some of them may be worse than others, like for example, the War Machine, and I believe it was Omega Red that he was featured with. I'm not the biggest fan of that War Machine design. However, it's not, to my knowledge, it's not a bad figure, and because figures like the Juggernaut and the Psylocke versus Thanos 2-pack could be better than that release, in my personal opinion. I do not have either of those two. I have the Juggernaut. That's all I can base it on. It is with bias. I do like Psylocke. I think that she's an awesome character. And I do really like the Thanos figure. It comes with his alternate head with the, I'm going to say King Thanos, but I don't think that it is his King Thanos look. But it still comes with it. It's really cool. And obviously comes with his snapping hand, which has all of the Infinity Stones. So, just being able to get not only that Thanos, but the Psylocke as well for 60, maybe a little bit more than 60, but not a completely outrageous price is a lot for me. I think it's very interesting. When I made this video, when I started, I expected it to simply be a Juggernaut review. However, I more want to talk about Marvel Legends, SH Figure Arts, just figure news in general, and just some stuff that's been happening recently with me, and I think that this is just a good video to get all of that off my own personal chest, if that makes sense. Anyways, so the two separate hands actually came on Juggernaut. Um, so he comes with a pair of fisted hands. These red things are removable in order to put on the effect piece. I don't like how it looks, and I tried to put the effect piece on with them, but personally, I could not find out how that was possible. It's unfortunate. However, um, the engineering isn't bad because you can just pop these off. And they're tight enough so that they don't just fall off constantly. But here's a better look at the pairs. If I could hold them correctly, I'm trying to hold them by the stem in the back. I think like this, the sense of size of this figure is insane. I'll later do a size comparison, but and then the two technically different hands that he comes with are this semi open hand, which he's kind of like gripping, but not fully on the other hand. And then his other hand is the more open, passive gripping one. The way I view it is that this is more holding things, like for example, if you want to make a scene from Deadpool 2 where Juggernaut split Deadpool in half, pull them apart. I think that this hand would be the most optimal position to hold Deadpool's body, and this hand is more what I would use it for as a smacking motion, because it has that large range and has the surface to actually do that. The articulation is, like I said, surprisingly good. Not only does he have butterfly joints, which is new to Marvel Legends, the head is much more articulated than I thought it was going to be. Not, like, so good, but it's not bad. His head does come off. But it is also not that hard to put on. I say as I struggle to put it on. And his foot came off again. See, one of the things that I do complain about just action figures in general is that you do have to be, with especially some more fragile figures, which makes sense, you'd have to be, like, treating them like glass. SH Figure Arts and Reveltech are great examples of this rule because they are known to just break apart. For example, the Reveltech Dobby that I had from My Hero Academia that I actually did do a review on. His, I believe it was his his left waist, coat, separate piece, just kept on falling off and was basically, it wasn't broken, it wasn't snapped or anything, but it was so fragile that it just felt like that. So that was annoying to me. Since that, I have actually thrown away that figure, because it's just so inconvenient to pose with or do anything with him, so I personally just, I didn't want to do it anymore. The big issue with the Juggernaut that I have is that I'll put his arms up to show better. That was very fluid motion. Is that fully in? There we go. Is that, so this is him T-posing. He's like a action doll from the elder times. I believe that this is just either because the figure is not worn out enough, it was simply opened yesterday, or I'm just not moving it in a matterful way enough. The next thing is his legs. It's easy to miss, but he has this separate joint that allows him to, I don't know what it does actually, but, oh, okay, it's a thigh swivel. Yeah. The effect piece is really cool, especially because how I used it when I had him battle my Thing figure, I had him use it as kind of like a power up, more like a example of a more powerful hit than his other ones. That he was actually putting more power into it to fighting the thing. And that is this. It looks kind of like the I don't know the name of it, but the effect pieces that or the effects of the like kind of like blast that Ken and Ryu, I believe his name was, did from was I believe it was Street Fighter. I was never into it as a kid. I'm not much into it. I believe it's Street Fighter. Ryu and Ken. So it reminds me of that. Inside, it has this matches his hand almost perfectly, with these two bulbs fitting on the either side of his fist there to snap on. But like I mentioned earlier, and I'll demonstrate now, the red band is on. I will now be trying to put the effect piece on with the red band still attached. It is 11:51 currently. I don't know, maybe I'm just not trying hard enough, but also the hand is dismembered, so it is harder to get a good grip on it. Anyway, so here is that engineering I was talking about. So you just kind of so you shimmy it until you can see that thing there start to pop out. It'll get a little bit looser, hopefully. Yeah, see? There is making noticeable distance. Well, you can't see it, but maybe there. Yeah, see? This is harder than I remember. I must have not done it with this hand yet. So I've gotten it off. He has two holes in his hands there to pop in. This looks much like the engineering of the effect piece, where it has the knuckle printing actually, and the two pegs to fit in. Now I'll be attempting to put the effect piece on the hand without the red band, which is, I believe, how it is meant to do. But I am weak, so it does take me a little bit. And the it is now fully on. And it's not so noticeable. They do add this little graphic there to kind of be a fit in for this piece. So that does help. However, I still would rather it be able to kind of fit in anyway, but I understand why it might not be able to because of just issues with engineering. Maybe they tried to do that originally and they couldn't get it to fit correctly. Or maybe it was too loose. In my opinion, as long as it still fits and doesn't cause too much of a problem, it's fine. So that is Juggernaut. I will now do a size comparison. Give me a second. I hope you can't hear anything odd. This is the closet. I'm speaking louder now in case you cannot hear me. This is the closet where I keep my figures. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not organized beyond universes, and it is very cluttersome. I have DC, Marvel, and everything else. Give me a second. Where is my Wolverine? Huh. I apologize. It seems that my Marvel Legends Wolverine has gone missing. I might have thrown him away. He wasn't a good figure. It was a outdated figure. This is, I don't know his name. I don't really care. He came in the MODOK World Domination Tour. And this is the Titanium Man figure made by Marvel Select. Here is a size comparison between Juggernaut and Trevor Phillips here. I will try to make them as equal, like right there. It's so massive. And then Titanium Man, who is also a very large figure. Around the same height, if not actually a little bit taller. Overall, I think that if you were looking for advice on if you want to cop this Juggernaut figure months after its release, I personally would advise you to do so. It is an updated sculpt for the Juggernaut, and the accessories are not bad. It does not include his unmasked head, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. And the accessories are what you would want for a Juggernaut. Maybe you could think of something else, but personally I don't think of anything else. The articulation it does leave some things to be asked for, like for example, I wish that the upper torso articulation was a little better, because like I demonstrated before, he just kind of comes back, and I wish that the head was less flimsy when turning around and doing a 360. But other than those issues, it is a very good figure and very meaty, I should say. Not like heavy as like a weight, but heavy compared to other figures. I think personally, if you're looking for the advice of a teenage boy who likes to collect pieces of plastic that often cost more than they should, this piece of plastic I would advise you to get. If you really want a Juggernaut and you're looking for a good figure, the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Juggernaut Marvel vs. Capcom figure is a good one to do that. The Gamerverse line is a good line to get the figures you want from it. For example, Omega Red, Psylocke, possibly even Thanos. I would all be okay with getting the figures from that line. I say Psylocke and Thanos as separate figures because you can get them as separate figures, but if you get Psylocke, you would also just be getting Thanos. So yes. So, I would like to now talk about some action figure news that has come out recently. First, Marvel Legends has officially announced their The Box Build-A-Figure. I hate to say it. I do. I'm not going to pick up most, if not anything, from that line. I don't care about the box. I don't care about most of the characters featured there. And if I do, for example, Bullseye or Psylocke, I don't like the designs. And for example, Bullseye is in his Dark Avengers storyline where he dresses as the Hawkeye and joins Norman Osborn. I believe this is Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers as the replacement for Hawkeye. It's a good figure. It does, you can tell it's Bullseye. However, I would rather just a Bullseye. Just a regular old Bullseye. Maybe him in the Muse 2-pack that recently came out. But yeah. So I'm not going to be copying that one. I'm not going to be copying Marina. I don't know who that is. I'm not going to be copying the U.S. Agent. I would rather a different figure. I'm not going to be copying the Psylocke. I don't like that design. I'm not going to be copying the... I might cop the Lady Deadpool. I do think that it is a good figure, and I'm not opposed to getting it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. If it comes up, I will most likely purchase it. However, there are figures that I just will go out of my way to try to get, like, for example, the Marvel Legends Toad or the Gamerverse Juggernaut, like I've stated before. But I just don't see Lady Deadpool being one of those figures. I don't remember much of who else was in the line. It was Marina, Bullseye, U.S. Agent, Psylocke, Lady Deadpool. Was it anybody else? I don't know. Maybe one more, but I don't remember who they were, so. But they also Hasbro announced something that I am very excited for, especially for the future of what it could mean. They announced a few days ago their Marvel Rivals figure line. They announced a Spider-Man and Luna Snow 2-pack, a Venom and Jeff the Landshark 2-pack, and Moon Knight and the Punisher as deluxe figures. I'm going to be copying as many of those as I possibly can. The Punisher, I don't fully want. It's still a cool character. I much rather that one than the Daredevil figure that came out a little while ago. I don't like that face sculpt. The Luna Snow and Spider-Man, I will cop not just even for the Spider-Man, but also just for the Luna Snow. The Moon Knight, I love Moon Knight as a character, and I'm fully okay with getting that. It also has a cloth cape. It might be wired. Do not take my word for that. It could be wired. I hope it's wired. That would be very awesome. And the Venom and Jeff the Landshark 2-pack, I genuinely really hope that I am able to get. I love the Venom design, and Jeff the Landshark is a statue. It does not move. However, from what I was able to look at, I do believe that he comes with another face sculpt. One with his mouth closed and a smile, and one with his tongue out. So, that's at least something, right? However, I'm very excited about what this could mean for the future of the Marvel Rivals line. Personally, I would like to see a Magic and Darkchild 2-pack. We've gotten limited Magic figures, and we have gotten limited to no Darkchild figures. The Marvel Rivals Darkchild design is one of the best Darkchild designs I've ever seen. It's awesome. And I'm very not opposed to getting it. However, it has not been announced, and it's still a concept in only my mind. Magic, I believe, would come with her Soul Sword and maybe a Stepping Disc if she has that ability in game. I believe that she does, and maybe a few of her other accessories, as in hands and maybe another head. Darkchild would come with basically this same thing, except that her Soul Sword would maybe look different. I think that I would love if that came out. Now, the other one that I was thinking of is a Hulk and Bruce Banner 2-pack, and even maybe a Hulk, Hero Hulk, a Bruce Banner, a Hero Hulk, and a Monster Hulk 3-pack. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I still would rather get the Maximum Hulk, because I do like the look of that Hulk overall. However, I would not be opposed to getting that, because I do like the Monster Hulk design, the Bruce Banner design, and even the whole Hero Hulk design sometimes. The Psylocke I would want also, but other than that, the Penny Parker and Spider I would like. Yeah. Next, SH Figure Arts. SH Figure Arts has been cooking lately. They have announced and teased, and not only just teased, but shown their Prime, yeah, I believe it's a Prime All Might figure that looks almost uncannily just like the Reveltech, but does not cost as much and comes with different accessories, so I am extremely excited to be able to get that whenever it comes out. They also are doing amazing things in the One Piece line. They just announced their Gear 3 optional parts set that I would definitely be okay with getting. They teased their Whitebeard figure, however, that's also not been seen. The only thing that's been seen is Luffy and I believe Ace in their Marineford looks on the silhouettes of the Whitebeard. This does not entirely guarantee that Whitebeard will be coming. However, I am hoping that it will. That it does mean that. They've also announced their Crocodile figure and their, I believe it's a Boa Hancock figure. They are really doing amazing things in the One Piece franchise, and I do wish that this type of love could be shown to Bleach. I'm getting recently into Bleach. Unfortunately, I believe that they just said that they're not going to be doing Bleach figures anymore, which is disappointing. I am disappointed in SH Figures for not doing that. I don't know why they won't want to do that anymore, but I do know that they're not going to be doing it anymore. Hopefully they go back on that and make a few more figures. I personally would love an Aizen figure. Or, yeah, Aizen. I have the Renji and I have the original Ichigo. Other than that, I don't have any of the other figures, but I would be very okay with getting some of the other ones. The Rukia, her older brother, and I believe that there's another captain, maybe also just another captain. But yeah, Reveltech has announced their Batman Beyond 2.0 figure. I hate to say it because I used to glaze Reveltech, but their 0.1 Batman Beyond figure was ugly. I did not like how it looked, but this one looks so much better. Looks so much more accurate to the show, but still enough different that it is able to be like Reveltech's own design based on the Batman Beyond franchise or series. I should say more. I'm not gonna cop it. I don't like DC as much as I like Marvel or other animes. Marvel and DC are not animes. I was saying other as in like as another category. But I wouldn't hate to get it, but it's not on my radar of something that I'm begging to get. I just really like how it looks, and I'm really excited for the people who do really want it, because I think that they're gonna love it, hopefully. But their Okuran figure and their Evil Eye figure from the anime Dun-Dun-Dun, I'm not gonna get it. I probably won't even get the SH figure arts of the Dan to Dan figures at all. Those aren't really good. Maybe the Figma. Okuran I might pick up one day. Because it is, in my opinion, better articulated than the SH figure arts Okuran. So hopefully we can see that in my future. In terms of music, I'm going to talk about two people. The nerdcore artist Orikadia and the underground artist Teenage Disaster. I believe I've talked about Teenage Disaster multiple times. Not so much Orikadia. Orikadia is my favorite nerdcore artist. In terms of characters, not characters, but figures such as Daddy Fat Snaps, Fable, Rustage, Reese Letts, I believe is how you pronounce his name, Jonold. I believe that Orikadia is really, I love his music. It is genuinely amazing to me. His most recent drop is a Maki rap called Scars, and his next drop is going to be a Yuta drop, a second Yuta drop from JJK. I don't know what it's going to be called yet because he's only announced that it's going to be coming out sometime, I believe, after next Friday, or Friday to next Friday. Next Friday to the weekend to follow next Friday. I am very excited for that. On terms of Teenage Disaster, where do I begin? I cannot wait for the album to come out. Smile, I'm waiting for it. Hopefully it comes out in the next few months. There are some lyrics I would like to share that he has released a few snippets that I believe are going to be in the Smile album, or are going to be single releases that won't be part of the Smile album. However, my personal theory about what Teenage Disaster, aka known as Thorn Baker, is doing is that he was done. My personal opinion is that he was done with the Smile album, but he couldn't release it, so he's just been making more music and adding it, which I'm not opposed to because I like it when albums have a lot of songs attached. I am very excited for a Smile drop. So I have 6 songs to share. The first one is, they're all on TikTok. The first one is captioned, "Anyone remember this weird commercial?" It has the same level of lyric, and that is, "Fuck it, I am going to rob my bitch." The graphics of it is a teenage disaster and a woman and a cop that closely resemble the uncanny put together style of the Smart School Boy 09. It reminded me of that, so I'm going to be showing it. No, I'm not. Yeah. And it flashes a stolen jacket, stolen shirt. Yeah, and then it says that he did not have to pay for those. They were $0.00 because it's stolen. The next is captioned, "Darn it," and I love. I will be reading out the lyrics now. "Alright, you said, how dumb of him to pray for me. She heard my song, but now she hates the radio." And then it goes on, but it does not give the lyrics. I'm not going to turn it up. I believe that this song is part of another snippet that I will read later on. The next one I love. I am very open about my bipolar disorder, and this very much reminds me of a manic episode. The lyrics of What Will Come genuinely remind me of how it feels to be in a manic episode. So, it is captioned, "Yeah." Why yay? Put my t-shirt on before I fuck your bitch. She gotta see the graphic. Cigarettes and cheap cologne. This Uber's fucking stuck in traffic. Sipping, 100 or I think 1800. Running races through my neighborhood. This is what I love about it. Give me a second. Till this shit wears off. Like goddamn bitch, I got it good. I love that lyric. It resonates with Mania so much in my personal opinion because it's saying until this, referring to a manic episode, shit runs out, I got it good. In a manic episode, you have it good. You think that you are the best person alive. You think that you are so amazing. And in the words of Rue from Euphoria, I believe it was her. If I am bipolar, I am. I much prefer mania than I do depression. Mania can be harmful. It is harmful. It is not a good thing, and it is something not to be proud of being in. But I would rather think I'm God than want to kill myself every day. The next song is what I said is most likely part of the other song in which talked about a woman listening to Thorn Baker's song and now she hates the radio. This video is captioned, "Oh God," and I think you can hear the excitement in my voice. It is my favorite. I love this snippet. It reminds me of a depressive episode in suicidal ideation. We all come together. The plan you made never would have worked. Oh God. It's also captioned, "Oh God." Just that lyric of the plan you made never would have worked speaks a lot to me. When I was hospitalized for the second time, I have attempted to take my life around 13 to 18 times. It's been a very long journey. I've only been hospitalized twice because I've never been genuinely in mortal danger, or I've never really told anybody about it. Both times I was hospitalized, it was the first and last time that I've attempted suicide, and it was an overdose. Well, I have never overdosed. It was when I attempted to overdose. When I got there the second time, I had already thrown up all of the pain medication I had taken that I had attempted to overdose on, and my doctors told my mother that I wouldn't have died. It was not enough. What they found in my system wasn't enough. I personally think that I took more than what they think I did because it's only what they found in my system, not because I threw it up still. Like, almost right after I took it because my friend Charlie begged me to. I don't think that I think I would have attempted suicide again if it was not for him and my brother and outside forces as well. But the lyric, "the plan you made never would have worked," is not only reassuring to hear, it's also depressing. In the benefit of hindsight, I'm glad I'm alive. I am glad that I never would have died. However, in the moment, I could have very well seen that as a disappointment. As me further not being able to do anything right. So, you can interpret it two different ways. And there are two other snippets that I would like to read out. This one is captioned, "I missed home." My childhood friend shot a kid over coke. He left him there, bleeding on the side of the road. I missed home. Next is, as the blood rained down on the floor, this is captioned, "Who's up cubicling right now?" As the blood rained down on the floor below, Johnny Boy's lighting up the cubicle. I'm sorry, but the company is letting you go. So grab your gun, grip it tonight. Better luck inside the next life. Johnny. Okay. So yes. I believe fully that Thorne's music is either directly about bipolar, or he himself suffers from a bipolar or bipolar adjacent disorder. The song Inside, which was his most recent released single that was, I believe, meant to be part of Smile, but he released it as a single. One of the lines is, not mania, I'm so much better. Mania is one of the only things that is associated with specifically bipolar disorder. I've never heard it used in a separate thing other than borderline personality disorder, which it could be, but mania is also a long-term feeling of euphoria, and borderline personality disorder has short feelings of euphoria. So yes, I personally believe that Tina Zester suffers from a bipolar disorder, and even if he doesn't, I still choose to believe that his music is about it, because I just feel like it helps me resonate with him more, and the music has already helped me a lot, and it just keeps helping me, if that makes sense. I cannot believe that I've almost been recording for an entire hour. Yeah. In the time that I've not posted, I'll actually pull up my last video to see when it was posted. A lot has changed. Like I said, I still suffer from mental illness. Like I said, I am currently in a manic episode. It is hard to tell currently because I don't know. I actually don't have an answer for that, but it is very obvious some points than others. So yes. But I'm not trying to kill myself every other day now. I'm not cutting. I'm not doing all of those things that I used to do. I've gotten much better. I've also lost my partner, well, my ex now. My ex-boyfriend. It was something that happened that I don't like that happened. As a joke, I kissed my friend on the cheek. When I told my ex about this, he called me a cheater and said that he could not date a cheater. I'm not mad at him for that. His beliefs have always been different, and I've always accepted that. But if he can't be happy in a relationship with me because of what happened, I don't blame him. I personally don't think it's wrong to kiss your friend on the cheek. I think it's more wrong what happened because my friend was directly uncomfortable with it. If would I do it again? No. Because my friend was uncomfortable with it. Would I kiss another friend who I knew was comfortable with it on the cheek? Yeah. Yeah. I do genuinely fail to see the issue there. Because my idea of it is, in multiple cultures, kissing is not like it is in American culture. You don't just kiss people that you love, well, people like that you romantically love. You also kiss people that you can kiss them just if you want to greet them. I believe that that's Italian culture, but I do not quote me on that. For example, also in American culture, kissing is not just a romantic thing. You can kiss somebody on the cheek and it not be romantic. For example, multiple parents kiss their children on the foreheads as a meaning of affection and usually to send them off to bed. That's probably the farthest thing from romantic. If I am with a partner and it is clear that they're uncomfortable with that, I won't do it. Because at the end of everything, their comfortability is more important to me than being able to touch my lips to my friend's cheek. It's not that important to me, but their comfortability is. I did make a mistake, but I do believe that my ex is gonna be happier without me than he was with me. Um, it wasn't a toxic situation. I don't believe it was. I think that I really did love him, and I really did confide in him and was vulnerable with him. But a lot of things changed, and we struggled to keep up with each other. The last video I made was the Gen X Pokedex number 2 of the main Pokedex so far, and that was 5 months ago. This video will be found in the reviews playlist. So far, there is the story time and review of Rebel Tech Dobby, and I believe Shoes. The Marvel Select Taskmaster review, where I look like a horror character because I am baked in darkness. The Essence Figure Arts Vigilante Deco action figure that I got for my birthday. And the Essence Figure Arts Tanjiro Kamado figure. I'm actually surprised I only reviewed 4 figures. I thought I reviewed much more. I did review the Harley Quinn Mayfix. I did do that. Didn't I? I didn't. Wow. That is... Wow. Okay. I do want to thank everybody for a lot of things. When I got out of the mental hospital for the second time, I already not had posted in a while, and I believe I only lost 1 or 2 followers. For all of you that still were following me over the 5-month period where I wasn't posting anything, a video, a short, nothing, I was completely radio silent, I thank you for your loyalty to the channel. I'm not saying that I'm your favorite YouTuber or anything. I highly doubt I'm anyone's favorite YouTuber or favorite content creator in general. But, and I also, it is likely that you just forgot I existed and just forgot to unsubscribe. But for anyone that didn't forget I existed and wasn't unsubscribing just because you didn't want to, I do thank you, because that does mean a lot to me. I believe I've always been open about how comments and reactions on my videos mean a lot to me, because the reason I do YouTube is to be heard. I want to do something so I can feel like I mean more than just a teenage boy from one of the U.S. states that goes to a high school that hopefully will be a large comic book writer in the future. Also, I'm rewriting my first comic. It is going to be coming out hopefully eventually, and hopefully in the next few months, and I'm very excited to get that finished. Anyway. But making content makes me feel like people care, and that I can make people smile. I'm happy when I see even 1 view on my video, because at least 1 person watched it. Even if it doesn't get the 300 views that I got one time, or the 11 views that I got maybe on another, but it getting more views does make me more happy, as it just would make sense to. Um, I do believe that, it is kind of like a reward system, but just because you may be the first person or the only set of 2, 3, or 4 people that watches, or even the only person that watches this, you still matter to me in a way that makes me happy. I am very grateful for the very small but noticeable amount of people that do check me out and want to see me get better and want to see me do things. I hope that I can grow my audience eventually, and that there will be more people who will be able to instill in my mind, really carve it in there that I am worth more than just a random guy. That somebody somewhere at least has laughed from something I've said. Hopefully, I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to overestimate myself, or that my action figure reviews have held some sort of merit. All of this actually cannot be guaranteed, but one thing can. I made a video a little while back about an awful idea for an anime or manga that was inspired by the anime and manga Bungo Stray Dogs, where a lot of real-life authors came to life on the fiction page, and those characters they had superpowers. When I was younger, I did something similar to that in my mind with a friend, and I did that with serial killers. I do now understand that is not awful on a funny part. That's just not a good idea. That is actually rude to people. It's just disrespectful. So yeah. But there were comments talking about it and engaging with my idea beyond just saying that it was funny or something. They were thinking about it and engaging with it. And that meant a lot to me, because something I made as just a ramble video, somebody took seriously. So, to wrap things up, thank you all for being able to let me have this and let me feel happy with this. I hope that you have an amazing night, day, whatever time it is for you. And I hope, I can give investment advice, something like that, I guess. I guess not, a statement, maybe like a promise, that you can expect more content from me, going forth. I do have just a lot of figures to review, that I, like the one I stated, almost an hour ago. I am very excited to talk about that one. So yeah. Stay in tune. I do hope, I am recording this on a different computer. My other one I broke because out of a fit of rage. Yeah. So if the audio or visuals are different, that is most likely why. I am recording this on a Victus laptop. It is a gaming laptop. And I have bought and played multiple games that I would not mind making content out of. I've only finished one of them, and that's Lego Marvel Avengers. So yeah. I would like to make content about this game I play called People Playground. It has a almost limitless amount of things that you can do with it because it is built off of a mod. Like, you're encouraged to get mods. Well, yes, it's still playable without mods. I have always been an advocate that the creator themselves just wants you to get mods. The main idea is to get mods, if that makes sense. So hopefully I can get all of the gaming things set up. I can do some more different types of content, maybe even reactions in the future. I know reaction content is not the best because people like Sniper Wolf don't really do a good job at it because they just watch it and maybe say, oh, or, oh, and then leave it at that. So who would inspire me to make my type of content of reaction that I would try to strive towards is Joe Bartolozzi, my favorite Twitch streamer and content creator of all time. He is a React streamer as well as a gaming streamer. But most of the time, I watch the video because he actually gives sustenance. It's like watching two different videos. It is very different than a lot of other reaction YouTubers. So if you look at my future reaction content and his reaction content, I actually hope that there are parallels between the two because he is what inspires me to want to do reaction content. So yeah. Like I said, have an amazing day. Expect more content and hopefully more variety in content. I'm going to be leaving now.